When buying a property, everyone does a property inspection. Do you know the hidden dangers of the property inspection that you haven't noticed?
Every single last breaker in every single one of the electrical panels, all 50 panels, have to be replaced.
Wow.
They spliced every single wire into the panel, but they hadn't done that just in this house. They had done an entire block.
Today, we're going to go over property inspections. A lot of investors do regular property inspections, but forget about the hidden dangers or neglect things to go over. Today, I have Tony Escamilla from Villa Property Inspections, and he's going to go over what you need to look for when you're doing your property inspections and the hidden dangers. Tony, great to have you
Hey,
here on
Jack.
our show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, property inspections. I know you've been doing this
Yes.
for a long time. You've done a lot,
Yep.
over like 8,000. Before
Yeah.
we go into some of this stuff, let's introduce yourself. Let the viewers know who you are, how long you've been doing
Yeah.
this, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. As you already mentioned, my name is Tony Escamilla. I own Villa Property Inspections, and we've been in business for 27 years. And it's been a fun ride. We inspected everything from single family homes up to large office buildings, multifamily, commercial, hospitals, schools, the whole 9 yards.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's been fun, but yeah, there's like you mentioned in the intro right now, there are so many hidden things that particularly investors in multifamily that they need to know about in a variety of different aspects that are critical to the transaction sometimes.
Right. I mean, just to let everyone know that Tony has just done in the last 3-4 months for myself
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 inspections because
Yeah.
I'm in a 1031 exchange and for a couple of clients and
Yeah.
going over everything. I mean, you pointed out a lot of different things. You and your inspectors,
Yeah.
other Tony as well, and on your team that I would have never thought of, or
Yeah.
even forgot about it. When you're doing a property inspection, when you're on there on site, there's so many things you have to remember, and
Yeah.
it's difficult. And glad to have you guys there guiding us through the way. So, tell us, when it comes to a property inspection, everyone kind of, or savvy investors, or even the beginners, are looking at the first multifamily or investment asset. You go to a property, you have someone like yourself come in, do the inspection. A lot of people don't know, a lot of investors don't know what to look for. They just rely
Okay.
on the professional, right? Hey,
Yeah.
they're doing their job. But give us some insights of things. Hey, these are the things that they look at, but here's some things that you as the buyer or investor should be considering to look at or have them, consider looking at before
Yeah.
while they're doing the inspection.
No, absolutely. Our inspection encompasses everything from the roof to the foundation and everything in between. We literally go through and check every last area outside the building, underneath the building, inside the attic space, the individual dwelling units. And for investors, from my experience, for investors, whether it be multifamily or an office building, there's four major things. And these are the ones that are the most expensive. So when you're buying a property, even though it may not immediately be an issue,
Mhm.
it might be an issue that's going to be an issue in the next 12 months, the next 2 years. And you need to know this stuff y- to budget, to plan, to schedule maintenance, repairs, replacement. Uh, First, of course, is the roof. I think
Yeah.
everybody knows that. So while the roof may look good, one of the things that's important is, you know, you have to know the difference between estimated useful life and remaining useful life. And so while the typical commercial roof is going to be 25 to 30-year lifespan, if it hasn't been maintained properly, that remaining useful lifespan might be 5 years. So while it may not be an issue today when you're buying the property, you need to budget, for within the next five
Right.
years to actually have to replace that entire roof. And so that's one of the biggest expenses.
Okay.
Then HVAC systems,
Yeah. Those
depending
can
on
get
how
really.
many, especially if you have package units, 2, 3-story buildings, and you have package units on the roof. We get this all the time, and they're old. They haven't been maintained in a while. Some of them are way past their useful life, even though they're technically still working.
Right.
So when we do the inspection, they're working, but we inform our clients, hey, look, this thing is past its useful life already, or it's getting close to the end of its useful life already. And so you should start planning to replace this. And if you've got 20 package units on the roof, that's a
Big cost.
big cost because two, 3-story apartment buildings, you have to take in consideration in order to get those off the roof and put new ones in, you need a crane.
Yep.
And that adds a lot of expense that people don't really think about, but that's one of the other main issues. Other main issue is electrical panels, and we'll touch on this in a bit, but electrical is a huge issue.
Right. Right now, electrical is huge.
It's huge right now for a few reasons. And plumbing. On these older multifamily buildings, I'll see original galvanized plumbing, original cast iron. And again, while it's still fine, we turn on the water, we flush the toilets, we check for leaks, and everything flushes. If you've got a 40, 50-year-old plumbing system, you're realistically looking at replacing that entire system soon, or you're looking at a lot of increased maintenance costs and repair costs down the road. And that's going to be your big ticket item.
Right. Yeah, I see that a lot with all these buildings right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And investor has to plan on, hey, is the purchase price, what is warranted, or do I need to scale back to consider all these items that you just brought up right now? Because eventually you're gonna have to address these issues. And going towards the main one right now, it's electrical.
It's electrical.
And what have you been seeing with the electrical right now?
Well, the main thing with electrical right now is not actually electrical. I mean, it is electrical, but it's not electrical. It's insurance.
It's insurance,
As you know.
Yeah.
We're in California, and even properties for those of your investors who invest in other states, it's insurance. Insurance companies here in California, and in particular, a lot of insurance companies are leaving altogether. Premiums are going up. We just had fires, and electrical issues are the main thing. So to get the building insured initially, and then to renew your policy, they're requiring inspections from people like us for the electrical system. Everybody knows if you're an investor, Federal Pacific, Zinsco, Challenger. That I was trying to come up with that name right now. We did a 50-unit building earlier this week, and the entire building they were replacing all of the breakers. It wasn't even that old.
Oh wow!
So the panels were newer, but they were Challenger.
Oh, okay,
so every single last breaker in every single one of the electrical panels, all 50 panels, had to be replaced. Wow! And that's a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
There were electricians there everywhere. The city building inspector was coming that afternoon, and they were just in a mad rush. But that's one of those things that you want to know right away when you're buying the property.
Yeah, prior to getting it, signing everything off and removing contingencies. That's a major thing. Have you seen, I mean, I know every investor is different, but from your perspective, majority of these things are not just deal killers, right? You just kind of have to address it. Everything can be kind of fixed.
Yeah.
But have you seen anything where you kind of, even advise to a client like, hey, or told a broker like, this is a really big issue. I think they should kind of walk away. I mean, for me, I seen on the environmental side, that was being a big killer. But on an inspection side, have you seen anything or advised anyone to?
Yeah, there are some things where it's just like, and not necessarily they're deal killers. It really depends on every transaction is different, as you know.
Right.
Okay, what is the other side willing to negotiate?
Yeah.
What is the investor's budget? What's the price of the building? In consideration of the neighborhood. So there's a lot of things in play. But when we run across things like structural issues here in the Long Beach area, there's a lot of older buildings. We've inspected a lot of older buildings, and occasionally we run into structural issues, foundation issues, eroded concrete. We're close to the beach. It plays in a lot with concrete. And I've had some foundations where and you can't see it from the outside as much. You see it from the inside because a lot of the time it's drainage issues that cause these things, and you'll see the inside of the concrete completely crumbled.
Okay.
That's a major issue. And or differential settlement. And differential settlement is when part of the building settles but the rest doesn't. And so you'll start seeing cracks, you'll start seeing unlevel floors, doors and windows that don't close properly. And to have to raise an entire side of a building can get really expensive.
Right.
And I'm not afraid as a contractor and inspector, and I always tell my clients this, investors, I'm not afraid to see a crack in the foundation wall.
Hmm. Okay.
That's not an issue. A crack can be filled, it could be braced. It's knowing whether it's a ongoing issue or it's still moving.
Mm.
And
Okay.
those are the critical things that investors need to know. And those are the things that might be deal killers. For example, here in the South Bay, the entire South Bay area, and some areas here out in the Long Beach area have what we call expansive soil.
Hmm.
Very unique type of soil that when it gets wet, it does exactly that. It expands. It pushes up, it pushes out, and it tends to cause havoc on foundations
Hmm.
and floors and things. When it gets wet, it expands, it pushes up on floor beams. When it dries, it shrinks, and so everything settles again, and
Yeah.
it kind of settles unevenly.
Mm.
That's manageable. It's still manageable. It's not necessarily a deal killer. There's thousands of buildings that have that kind of soil. You just have to know how to deal with it and deal with drainage issues, and that's why it's so critical to get your inspection beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
And have some deep pockets sometimes.
And have some deep pockets sometimes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of people wouldn't know, and the viewers, you are a licensed contractor.
Yes. Yeah.
You did construction before?
I had a construction company many, many years ago.
Okay.
Fun fact: I got started a long, long time ago in the business. I was working for a retired contractor
Okay.
who had done really, really well for himself. An older gentleman. He became my mentor for many years. And I credit him to for I wouldn't be here right now had it not been for him because I learned so much. And he was a hard money lender and
Oh wow.
lending
Okay.
money to flippers.
Okay.
And so that's how I ended up getting into business. Is some of these properties would come back, or some of these properties before he funded on them, it would send me to go do the inspection on the property
Mm.
to assess what was going on, how much was it going to cost, and that's how I ended up getting into the inspection business. He
Okay.
helped me get my contractor's license, which is now it's crazy to think it's 25 years ago. I've
Yeah.
been doing inspections just about that long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was good. Another thing that we're noticing, other than the electrical and insurance,
Mhm.
is in California, right? We have SB 721
Yes.
balcony inspection.
Yes. Yes.
For the viewers that, I mean, I touched on it before, but if you can, what's the balcony inspection and why should they get
Yes.
it done sooner than later?
Absolutely. Yeah. We were talking about this off air right now
Yeah.
beforehand. Balcony inspection. So a law passed in 2018, I believe it was, that all balconies for apartment buildings and condominiums need to be inspected. So the deadline was set for December 31st, 2024.
Four.
First, originally was set.
Right.
And then it was extended in October of last year. It was extended to the end
End
of
of
this
this
year,
year. Right.
which is only a few weeks away.
Yes, it is.
And so we are just getting slammed right now with calls to inspect balconies. And the reason it happened, for those of you who don't know, is in 2015, there was a balcony collapse off the fifth floor of an apartment building in Berkeley.
Yeah.
And sadly, 6 students died and a lot of people got injured. And then there was another one shortly thereafter, not quite as bad. And so legislature came in and passed this law because they came to realize that what had caused that collapse was lack of proper maintenance and sealing or
Mm.
sealant along the floor. So the structure completely rotted.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
and so it snapped like a twig, basically. And so that's what prompted that. And so yeah, balconies need to be inspected for apartments and condominiums, and they need to get done now. And one of the issues that has been coming up, and I've been hearing from property management companies and investors that we work with, is that it's also now an insurance issue, just like electrical panels.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Okay.
Insurance companies are starting to ask for a copy of the
Right.
balcony inspection report
Mm.
come renewal time for your policy. So
Okay.
while it may not be a huge issue for your property, even if your balconies are still in good shape, and most of the stuff that we find right now is just maintenance related stuff. Occasionally we find some that are really, really bad, but it's very minimal. But even if you have just maintenance related items, come insurance time, you're probably going to need that report to give your
Right.
insurance company.
Right. And that inspection is due January 1st of 2026.
Yes.
And I know I was just before we came
Yeah.
here, I was in San Pedro helping a client on a 14 unit building,
Yeah.
and we're doing the inspection, and he asked me to come by, and everyone's getting there. It's time. And it's same thing with that. With the balconies look great, but once they started, the report came out from the inspector when they poked holes underneath
Yeah.
them, you'll see a little bit of water, so water damage, and because
Yeah.
it's older buildings, things move in. The waterproofing at that time was great, but not probably now.
Yeah.
So a lot of things for owners, if you're watching, get on it now before end of the year, because they're gonna start finding owners that haven't done it.
They are, yeah. Depending on the local city, a lot
Yeah.
of cities have enacted their own ordinance, their local ordinance, because SB 721 is a state thing. So
Right.
local cities have enacted their own versions of SB 721, and some of them are enforcing more than other cities.
Yeah.
So depending on the city.
Depending on the city,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something to get done. It's
Yeah.
really good, and it doesn't only include balconies. It's
Balconies, stairs,
staircase, and
walkways, elevated walkways. So if you have those long walkways
Right.
on the second floor, third floor between apartment buildings, those as well.
Okay. yeah. So if you haven't done so,
Yeah.
we'll share
Yeah.
Tony's number later on afterwards, and you can give him a call. Come and
Yeah.
do it. Speaking of that, once I told every viewers earlier that I've had you done some of my reports.
Yeah.
I've had so many inspectors and inspection
my God,
reports,
yeah.
right? Since I'm in the business, but what I like about your guys is obviously it's very detailed,
Mhm.
shows all the points. I really appreciate that. But you also have this thing called what was it called? The value analyzer, or to fix the what was
Oh
it?
yeah. We do what's called cost opinions.
Cost opinion. There you go.
Yeah.
Cost evaluator. So
Cost value. Yeah. So
can you go a little bit about that?
there's different varieties of that depending on the size of the building. We offer a third party service
Mhm.
that's completely independent, and they'll take our inspection report and they will create actual cost estimates
Okay.
based on our
Right.
report. Now we have our own for larger properties. We have our own in-house service
Okay.
that we do, and you couple that, and this is where it's critical. We touched on that with the five major systems, like having to know when things are going to age out. So when you're purchasing a property today, while that HVAC system may be working fine right now, it's like remaining useful life maybe 3 years, and so you have to plan and budget. And so we offer a capital replacement projection. And for those who don't know what that is, it's basically a very intense spreadsheet where we take all of these systems. For example, your roof, we will measure out the roof, what type of roof it is, and we'll calculate how much it's going to cost to replace that roof today, even though you don't need it today. So remaining useful life may be 5 years. So we'll plug that into the spreadsheet in the 5-year column.
Okay.
But then you have to adjust for inflation. 2 to 3% inflation every year over 5 years. It compounds over 5 years. So what you're going to pay for a roof today is not what you're
Yep.
going to pay
There you go.
5 years from now.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so we'll drop it into that column and say, okay, this is what it approximately cost you 5 years from now. We do the same thing with the HVAC systems on the roof. Okay, 10 of them are in great shape. They have a good lifespan. 3 or 4 of them need to be replaced within the next 2 years. So we'll do the same kind of calculation. This is how much it would cost. We'll incorporate the whole crane thing that we were talking about, calculate everything out, put it on the 2-year or the 3-year column, adjust for inflation. And so now you have, at the end of this complicated spreadsheet, now we're going to break it down. Okay, here's what you need to do within the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to do within the next 5 years, and here's what can be after that. So you have a very detailed picture of how much money you need to spend
Yeah.
immediately, how much money you need to spend within the next 2 or 3 years, and how much you're going to spend 5 years, 7 years down the road. So you can plan, you can budget, you can schedule.
Which is very helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
I had that done on a property I purchased in 2018, but 5-year for the roof. So in 2020 which was weird, right after, like right in between COVID, towards the tail end. I had the roof estimated and got it done.
Yeah.
And then I had another client that's next to me on that building. He's wanted to get a roof in 2024.
Yeah.
Wow. The
Yeah.
price difference. Wow.
Well, everybody who went through COVID knows this is
Wow.
Come the other side of COVID, labor, materials,
Everything.
just skyrocketed.
Yeah. Kind of. I think
Yeah.
I saved about $15,000 to $20,000 to get the roof done.
Yeah.
When I got it done, instead of I did it now.
No, if you can, you want to get those things done. You have to plan it and really take into consideration what our economy is doing right now.
Yeah.
Where our inflation is. Right now we have tariffs, so it affects things. It affected cost of construction goods,
Oh yeah.
lumber, things like that, copper,
Mhm.
plumbing. So you have to take all of those things into consideration. So the more information you have coming in, the better educated decisions you can make.
Yep, that is correct. I had a client ask me one time too, and I wanted to get your opinion on it, and for the viewers as well. New construction.
Yes.
Let's say most townhouse house.
Yeah.
I told the client, hey, contract. They're like, it's newly built, Jack. Why do I need to go and get an inspection? I said, what do you mean by that? They're like, well, it's newly built. I want to save the money. I'm like, it's not. You're spending this much money on your new townhome or house. It's not. It's very minimal. Why don't you just go get it done? Well, it's brand new. What is your opinion on it? Because
I laugh because I had this phone call just yesterday from somebody who asked me the exact question you just asked me. And in my opinion, it is just one of the smartest things you can do if you're buying new construction. We go in there and sometimes we write up more stuff on brand new construction than we do on an older house.
I would think so.
You have to remember that there are many subcontractors that are coming through here. You've got your concrete guys, your plumbers, your carpenters. Oh my God, plumbers in particular, electricians, and we'll walk in. It's like, oh my God, how did they miss this?
How did they pass the inspection?
And how did it pass inspection? Most building inspectors don't. For example, here's a real life thing that happened. Most building inspectors don't crawl under houses on raised foundations. Right. They're going to inspect it as it's being built, and then they start covering stuff up in stages. Mm-hmm. We go under this house. The plumber had notched out 4 floor joists.
Wow.
To get a sewer pipe in. Rather than reroute it because it had to be, the bathroom was in a certain place, he just notched off the floor joist.
Wow. Okay.
We're like, okay then, yeah. And I had one up in Palm Springs last year where it was brand new construction, an entire neighborhood. This is why some of the developers don't like us. They don't like us to be on site. They brought in the electrical underground to the electrical panel.
Uh-huh.
And they left the wire there. When the electrician got there to install the main electrical panel, the wires were too short. Oh. They didn't reach the breakers, the individual breakers inside the panel. So what they do is they spliced every single wire, which is not allowed.
Yeah.
They spliced every single wire into the panel, but they hadn't done that just in this house. They had done an entire block.
Oh, okay.
So I handed in my report. I found out from the client about a month later that they ended up having to go and redo the entire block of because
Yeah.
he spoke to one neighbor,
Right.
that neighbor spoke to the next neighbor, that
Yep.
neighbor he spoke, and
So
so yeah, it's very important to get it for new construction. The little
yeah,
cosmetic stuff, it looks really pretty when it's a brand new house. The little cosmetic stuff is okay. It's the big stuff that you're
it's the
still
big
looking
stuff.
for.
And I
Yeah.
noticed that too with a couple of clients that purchased, even back in 2015, 2016,
Mhm.
they kind of forego it even though with my recommendation, and then a couple of years later like, this is wrong, or
Yeah.
the AC is not draining correctly, it's coming into the house, or this,
Yeah.
that, like little stuff like that, but it adds up because
Yeah.
one client had in their bottom bathroom wall,
Mhm.
I guess there was a leak. It was the plumber didn't weld everything correctly on there, or
Mhm.
and the whole bathroom it was leaking in the back.
Oh,
So all the
wow.
insulation got
Got
wet,
soaked, got mold.
mold, and they started
I
smelling it. They didn't, but they couldn't see it, and then it's just finally the wall fell down on one side, and they had to call ServPro, and like it was a mess. But
Sadly, I had that issue happen in my own house
oh,
a few years back.
yeah.
Exactly what you described. Well, we had a townhome,
Mhm.
my wife and I, and the water heater was upstairs in the utility closet. We decided to move it downstairs to the garage, and we put a tankless water heater in there. Unbeknownst to us, the pipe that was in the wall, they left a little tiny pinhole leak
Oh wow,
on
okay,
the back side of the pipe, which you couldn't see. And everything got covered up. About a month later, I'm standing outside, and there's a little closet from the exterior where the gas meter is inside. And I opened it up for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was. And everything was black. I mean, black.
Mm.
As black as some of these microphones.
Ugh,
And
wow,
yeah, we had to go through that entire process. And it was just horrible.
yeah,
The machinery, the smells,
everything, yeah.
they ended up gutting an entire bathroom
Oh wow.
downstairs, and yeah.
It's not cheap and it's painful and it's wrecks a lot of havoc
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
life.
One of the things that I do recommend, even if you don't get the initial, you want to get the initial inspection.
Yeah.
But you couple that with the 11-month warranty inspection. So most developers will give you 12 months of warranty on the house. So in that 11th month, you get another inspection.
Oh,
Because now
okay.
you've been living it for a while, you know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
And you get that inspection just before your insurance, that your warranty expires. And then you
Okay.
can go back to the developer and say, hey, I need this fixed. I need this fixed.
Hey, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
I'll use that. That's really good. And if you guys are watching and you bought a new home recently, use that tip because that's great. Tony, I'll give you the last word. Great information as always. We appreciate you coming down. Could you let the viewers know how can they reach you? I know you have some social handles, so
Yeah,
that'd be great.
yeah. On all social media, basically, is Villa Property Inspections. And our website is inspectaproperty.com. So all one
Simple.
word, inspectaproperty.com.
Well, Tony, thanks for coming on. And if you guys found this informational or liked it, please feel free to like and subscribe so I can bring more great commentary and interviews like this from people in the multifamily world. See you on the next one. Thanks.